Welcome to Faith in 5, a weekly video devotional designed to discuss practical spiritual concepts in 5 minutes or less. I'm your host, Mark Vandella. So picture with me a suburban neighborhood. It may not be exactly the place you live, but oftentimes when we say, picture the ideal, we picture one of these kind of Hollywood set type neighborhoods, tree-lined streets, perfectly manicured lawns. When you pull into your driveway, the garage door goes up. You pull in, the garage door goes down. Everything is perfect and neat. We even have like homeowners rules to make sure that your lawn is a certain length and your paint is a certain color. This is uniquely the kind of faith that I don't want to say that I desire it, but I kind of also desire that. Right? It's kind of embarrassing to say, I want safe, right? These are the neighborhoods where we have everything we could ever want and nothing ever goes wrong. And I do want a faith that's just like that. Everything I ask for from God is given to me, and I never face difficulty. But we know that's not real life. See, one of the problems that we face is we've kind of told people that God will never give you more than you can handle. I have said that. I have had it said to me. And unfortunately, it's a lie. See, we are starting a new series called More Than You Can Handle. It's by a friend of mine named Nate Pyle, and he wrote about his personal struggle and a number of different stories throughout of people that he's worked with. He's a pastor in Indiana, and so he regularly sits with people who are in a spot where maybe it's just a little bit more than they can handle. And it's really a great book for us to kind of wrestle with the desires of our heart with faith and the realities of our life. See, in that book, Nate has this beautiful concept that really is challenging me in my faith, because we're the week after Easter now. And he says that most of our faith, that suburban faith, is a faith that wants Easter without Good Friday. And when we tell people that God will never give you more than you can handle, we forget that Jesus died on the cross. He died. That's a little bit more than we can handle. But the beauty of that is that on the other side, God proved that death is not more for God to handle, but it is for us. And so Nate shares stories, and I have sat with people. I have friends, I would say, in the last month, I've had conversations with people who have lost children. I've had conversations with people with postpartum depression. I've had conversations with people who had debilitating accidents. I've had conversations with people who have terminal diagnoses. Conversations with people who have lost marriages, who have lost jobs, who've lost friends to suicide, who have had thoughts of suicide, and all of those things are more than we can handle. And in my faith, when I really step back, and as I've been reading this book and the challenges of this book, I don't want to ask for it, but I do want more than I can handle, because in my life, anytime what I think I can handle runs out is the time that I finally open my arms, that I finally open my hands, and I invite God to take it. And so the misnomer is that God will not give you, that doesn't hold up to when we face difficult situations, because we think that then God gave that to us. He's somehow manipulating us, moving us around like chess pieces, which isn't true. And if we desire the suburban faith, the one where nothing goes wrong, we aren't equipped to lean into God so that we lean on Him when it is more than we can handle. Paul says in 2 Corinthians 1, 8 through 9, he says, "We do not want you to be uninformed, brothers and sisters, about the troubles we've experienced in the province of Asia." They were out sharing Jesus, and they were not met with warm welcomes. He says, "We were under great pressure far beyond our ability to endure, so that we despaired life itself." He's saying we got to a spot where it was more than we can handle. He goes on to say, we felt we had received the sentence of death, but this happened that we might not rely on ourselves, but on God who raises the dead. So this week as we engage our faith, this series as we engage our faith, we're going to wrestle with some tough stuff. And I'm not going to be able to give you the exact perfect answers, the platitudes that are, God will never give you more than you can handle, because they're not true. This week as we wrestle with things, as we engage our faith, look for the places that you want Easter without Good Friday. Nate, in his book, he says oftentimes when we have these difficulties, we ask the wrong questions. We ask why. We ask, why me? We ask, what did I do to deserve this? And those are all the wrong questions. He says that if we can train ourselves to shift, and like Paul suggests, to look at God and say, what is right? Instead of what's wrong, what is right? And then maybe take it one step further and say, what in the midst of my darkness, in the midst of this pain and suffering, what is right on the other side of it? What would right look like? Right doesn't look like suburbia. But what does Easter look like in the midst of Good Friday? What are the promises that God has of Easter while we're suffering in Good Friday? This week, I would encourage you to go back and think through your Easter experience, the Good Friday experience, the people around you who are suffering, the spots in your life where they don't add up, they don't make sense, and you think somewhere in your head, God will never give you more than you can handle is a lie. Embrace that, because that's the moment when we give up that and we admit this darkness is more than I can handle, is the time we lean into God instead of run from Him. This week, lean in to God.